Rebekah's pregnancy, which brought the twins into the world, was overshadowed by a chilling divine revelation. 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you shall be divided. Genesis 25:23. From that moment, it was clear these twins were not just brothers but destined enemies, and the course of their lives would forever change the fate of nations. Esau and Jacob were born into a world already steeped in tension. Yet, from the start, Esau appeared destined for a path that no one could have anticipated. His very name, Esau, meaning hairy, seemed innocent enough at first, but soon it became a haunting symbol of his raw, untamed nature. Unlike his twin brother Jacob, who was quiet and introspective, Esau was wild, living freely in the open fields and thriving on the thrill of the hunt. He was a man of the earth, someone who embraced the world with open arms, never pausing to consider what lay beneath its surface. His unrestrained personality won him favor with his father Isaac, who admired Esau's rugged, adventurous spirit. But Jacob, quietly living in the shadow of his brother, was biding his time, and what seemed like sibling rivalry was brewing into something far more dangerous. The defining moment of Esau's life came in an instant, a single decision that would haunt him forever. Returning from a day of exhausting hunting, Esau stumbled into the camp, famished and desperate. His brother Jacob, ever calculating, was ready. As Esau's hunger consumed him, he didn't just crave food, he craved immediate satisfaction. Jacob saw this and, with cold precision, demanded Esau's birthright in exchange for a simple bowl of stew. And shockingly, Esau agreed. In that impulsive act, Esau gave away everything his right as the firstborn, his future leadership, and the blessings of God, all for a fleeting moment of relief. Genesis 25:29-34 tells the chilling tale. Once when Jacob was cooking stew, Esau came in from the field, and he was exhausted. And Esau said to Jacob, "Let me eat some of that red stew, for I am exhausted." Jacob said, "Sell me your birthright now." Esau said, "I am about to die." "Of what use is a birthright to me?" Jacob said, "Swear to me now." So he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. That simple trade, driven by hunger and desperation, sealed Esau's fate. Jacob, seeing his opportunity, manipulated the situation to his advantage, stripping Esau of his birthright without a second thought. This moment wasn't just a lapse in judgment, it was a catastrophic failure to grasp the gravity of his actions. Esau, consumed by the moment, couldn't see past his immediate needs, and in doing so, he lost a precious inheritance that should have defined his destiny. What he saw as a simple trade would soon turn into a nightmare, a decision that would mark him forever as the man who lost everything for nothing. Esau's reckless choice teaches us a sobering lesson about the dangers of acting on impulse. His failure to recognize the long-term consequences of his actions led to devastating results, both for himself and for generations to come. The trade that seemed so trivial at the time would become the source of endless regret, a reminder of how fleeting desires can destroy everything we hold dear. If you're interested in this content, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and click the bell to activate notifications. That way, YouTube will recommend more videos like this to you. Without further ado, let's return to the story. Esau's impulsive choice to trade his birthright for a simple bowl of lentils had profound and irreversible consequences in his life. By devaluing his birthright as the firstborn, Esau gave up not only a prestigious position within his family, but also the special blessings that came with that status. Right after this incident, Esau also took a wife who displeased his parents, going against their guidance and family preferences. His choice of wife further revealed his carefree and rebellious attitude, which was at odds with his family's values and traditions. The immediate consequence of this series of impulsive decisions was increased tension and conflict within Isaac and Rebekah's family. Esau found himself at odds with his parents and his brother Jacob, leading to strained and fractured family relationships. Furthermore, by despising his birthright, Esau not only lost his right to leadership and inheritance, but also gave up a spiritually significant position before God. In biblical tradition, the firstborn had a special status and received unique blessings and sacred responsibilities. By disregarding this position, Esau lost the opportunity to receive the divine blessings reserved for the firstborn. Esau's choices not only affected his own life, but also impacted future generations of his family. The tension between Esau and Jacob, resulting from Esau's rash decisions, continued to unfold over generations, influencing the relationships between Esau's descendants, the Edomites, and Jacob's descendants, the Israelites. The biblical narrative delves into a whirlwind of emotions as the consequences of Esau's choices dramatically unfold. At a crucial moment, when the patriarch Isaac in his final days prepared to bless his elder son Esau, a twist was about to occur. Knowing Esau's love for hunting, Isaac sent him to prepare a meal before the blessing. However, behind the scenes, a manipulation was about to unfold. Rebekah, mother of Jacob and Esau, overheard the conversation between father and son and understood the divine purpose for Jacob. Acting shrewdly, she knew the blessing should be for Jacob, not Esau. In a bold move, Rebekah instructed Jacob to deceive his father by pretending to be Esau. Immersed in his mother's scheme, Jacob prepared a meal and wore Esau's clothes, ready to trick his elderly and nearly blind father. When Isaac questioned the identity of the son bringing him the meal, Jacob, with a voice trembling with anxiety and breath held, replied, "I am Esau, your firstborn." At that moment, the suspense reached its peak, as Isaac, relying on his weakened senses, hesitated before bestowing the blessing. The drama climaxed when Isaac, after a moment of hesitation, finally pronounced the blessing over Jacob, believing he was blessing Esau. The impact of this twist was devastating. When Esau returned and discovered what had happened, pain and betrayal filled his soul. He, who once held the birthright, now found himself deprived of that sacred privilege. He begged Isaac for a blessing, but his pleas fell on deaf ears, for the fate had already been sealed. Esau was consumed by bitterness and anger, his relationship with his brother and parents irrevocably damaged by this family intrigue. This event is more than just a plot twist. It is a crucial turning point in Esau's life, where he faces the harsh reality of the consequences of his impulsive choices. He was deceived and stripped of something he considered rightfully his, and his heart burned with the fire of betrayal and disappointment. Esau's story is remembered through the ages as a grim reminder of the importance of acting with wisdom and foresight, especially at critical moments in our lives. His rash actions and lack of discernment led him to lose something of immeasurable value, a lesson that echoes throughout human history, warning us of the profound consequences of our choices. After being deprived of the blessing he considered his birthright, a storm of emotions engulfed Esau's heart, transforming into a whirlwind of anger and resentment. Feeling deceived and betrayed by the one who should have been his closest confidant, his own brother Esau was consumed by a bitterness that took deep root in his soul. Every breath was tainted with the bitter taste of betrayal, every thought darkened by an unrelenting desire for revenge. The hatred for Jacob, like a burning flame, raged within him, fueling his dark plans for retribution. Each heartbeat echoed his fierce determination to make Jacob pay for what he had done. His plan for revenge was not just a simple strategy. It was an obsession that consumed him day and night. He vowed to kill Jacob as soon as their father, Isaac, passed away, and nothing could deter his insatiable quest for justice. Vengeance became his sole purpose, overshadowing any glimpse of reconciliation or family peace. Esau's heart became an impenetrable fortress, guarded by walls of hatred and resentment. His soul was shrouded in darkness, incapable of seeing the light of forgiveness or mercy. He was so immersed in his own pain and indignation that he couldn't see beyond them, losing himself in an abyss of bitterness from which there was no return. Esau's story is a grim reminder of the danger of allowing hatred and resentment to dominate our lives. When we nurture such emotions, we are only paving a path of destruction that leads us away from peace and the grace of God. Esau became a prisoner of his own hatred, unable to find liberation or redemption in his dark shadows. Faced with the looming shadow of Esau's vengeance, Rebekah didn't hesitate to act once again to protect her son, Jacob. Aware of the gravity of the situation, she urgently summoned Jacob, her eyes reflecting the seriousness of the mission she was about to entrust to him. In a whisper filled with fear and determination, she outlined her plan for his escape to her brother Laban's house in Haran, a distant refuge where he would be safe until Esau's anger subsided. For Rebekah, there was no choice but to sacrifice the closeness of her son in exchange for his safety and survival. Jacob, with a heavy heart, accepted his mother's charge. As he prepared to leave, he bid farewell to everything he knew, his home, his homeland, and most painfully, his mother. Each step toward freedom was an additional weight of sadness and uncertainty. However, he clung to the faith that his mother's wisdom and God's providence would guide him through the unknown shadows that awaited. As Jacob made his way into the unknown, Rebekah faced an equally difficult challenge at home. She had to cope with the pain of seeing her son leave, while also dealing with the weight of Isaac's disappointment and resentment, manifesting in every look and heavy silence. Despite this, Rebekah remained steadfast in her conviction that she was acting for Jacob's good, trusting in the divine promise that guided every step of his journey. Jacob's escape was not just a matter of survival, it was a dramatic turning point in the narrative, revealing the profound impact of each character's choices. As Jacob sought safety and refuge on a new horizon, Esau was left behind, consumed by the fire of his hatred and desire for revenge. Meanwhile, Rebekah bore the burden of keeping her family united even amidst the forced separation. This part of the story teaches us to trust in divine providence even in the darkest and most uncertain moments. Just as Jacob trusted in God's guidance during his journey of escape, we too must learn to place our faith and trust in God, knowing that He is always with us, illuminating our steps through the shadows and guiding us to the safety of His love. After Jacob's departure to Haran, his journey was not only a quest for safety, but also a period of growth and self-discovery. Far from his homeland and the familiarity of his family, Jacob found himself immersed in a completely new world, filled with challenges and opportunities. Under the guidance of his uncle Laban, Jacob faced a series of trials, both physical and spiritual. He worked diligently as a shepherd, learning the importance of discipline, patience, and hard work. However, he also encountered disappointments and betrayals, especially when Laban tried to deceive him. The most famous instance of Laban's deception occurred during the time Jacob was working for him in exchange for the hand of Rachel in marriage. When the time for the wedding arrived, Laban substituted Rachel with her older sister Leah on the wedding night. Jacob, unaware of the switch, only realized the deception the next morning. Furious with Laban's betrayal, Jacob confronted him, but Laban justified his actions with various excuses, including the tradition of marrying off the elder daughter before the younger. Eventually, Laban agreed to let Jacob marry Rachel as well, but only under the condition that he worked another 7 years on his farm. Despite these challenges, Jacob thrived in Haran. He became a man of great skill and vision, accumulating wealth and building his own family. He married Leah and Rachel, Laban's daughters, and fathered children who would become the tribes of Israel. However, despite his material prosperity, Jacob never forgot his homeland and his family. His heart yearned for reconciliation with his brother Esau and forgiveness for his past wrongdoings. Thus, after years of absence, Jacob felt the call to return to the land of Canaan, where his journey had begun. After a period of separation and uncertainty, fate finally brought Jacob back to the land of Canaan, where he prepared for a tense encounter with his brother Esau. As he neared his homeland, Jacob learned that Esau was coming to meet him with 400 men, which filled him with fear. He divided his family and flocks into 2 groups, devising a strategy to protect his loved ones in case Esau acted with hostility. As Jacob prepared for the meeting, he sought God's guidance and protection. On a solitary night, he had an encounter with angels of God who comforted and encouraged him on his journey. Jacob felt the divine presence around him, strengthening his faith and renewing his determination to face whatever lay ahead. Finally, the moment arrived for the long-feared meeting between Jacob and Esau. Jacob approached his brother, bowing to the ground 7 times as a sign of respect and humility. The tension in the air was palpable as the 2 brothers faced each other, each contemplating what the other was thinking and feeling. To Jacob's surprise, Esau ran toward him and embraced him warmly. Tears flowed freely as the 2 brothers reconciled, leaving behind years of resentment and hurt. Forgiveness was given and accepted, and a new chapter began in the relationship between Jacob and Esau. Esau looked at Jacob's family and flocks, inquiring about them with genuine curiosity and interest. Jacob explained that the gifts were an expression of his gratitude and desire to restore his relationship with Esau. After a brief exchange of words, the brothers agreed to go their separate ways, each returning to their own land and people. The encounter between Jacob and Esau is a powerful testament to the power of forgiveness and reconciliation. Despite the many adversities and differences that separated them, the 2 brothers found a way to overcome their disagreements and restore their fraternal bond. Their story reminds us of the importance of letting go of the past and seeking peace and reconciliation even in the most difficult situations. Jacob and Esau teach us that it is possible to overcome divisions and find unity and love, as long as we are willing to set aside our pride and resentments. Their reunion is a powerful reminder of the transformative power of forgiveness and grace, which can bring healing and restoration even to the most damaged relationships. Despite their differences and past conflicts, both Jacob and Esau prospered in their own ways and left a lasting legacy that echoed through generations. Esau, as the older brother, held a privileged position as the firstborn, with all the rights and responsibilities that entailed. However, his impulsive choices and disregard for spiritual blessings ultimately harmed his destiny. He became the progenitor of the Edomites, a people often in conflict with the Israelites throughout biblical history. Esau is remembered as an example of someone who valued earthly pleasures more than spiritual promises. On the other hand, Jacob, despite his faults and deceptions throughout his life, was chosen by God to be the patriarch of the nation of Israel. His journey of faith and transformation led him to be renamed Israel, a man who wrestled with God and with men and prevailed. Jacob is remembered for his devotion to God and for leading his family in worship and service to the Lord. His 12 sons became the 12 tribes of Israel, laying the foundation for the future nation of Israel. The legacy of Esau and Jacob reminds us of the consequences of our choices and the importance of seeking spiritual blessings above earthly rewards. While Esau represented the pursuit of immediate pleasure and personal gratification, Jacob embodied the journey of faith and spiritual transformation. Their stories encourage us to reflect on our own priorities and seek God's will in our lives, knowing that our choices will shape our destiny and the legacy we leave behind. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and click on one of the 2 videos that will appear to keep watching us. God bless you.